Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's BAC Bravo meeting. Today is May 13. Please be advised that this proceeding will be recorded. Kindly acknowledge your presence once your name is called po. Starting with our chairperson, Attorney Danjon G. Lucas.
Here.
Morning, sir. Also present is our vice chairperson, Major General Ricardo Banayat.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning po. Also with us is Engineer Jaime Cosep.
Good morning, Present.
Good morning po. From the provisional member, representative from the end users are present, sir. And the BAC Technical Working Group, headed by Attorney Nestor Mendoza.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning po. Also present are the BAC Secretariat. And with that, sir, we have a quorum.
Okay, calling the meeting to order and first order of business. Prayer, please.
Let's put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. Heavenly Father, as we begin this meeting, we humbly place ourselves before you. Guide our hearts and minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Bestow upon us our supreme wisdom, so that this meeting may reach a successful and fruitful conclusion. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Okay. With the first order of business having been conducted, let's start with the first item on the agenda, pre-bid conference. FICG will be presenting. Sir Erwin and
Yes, sir. Good morning po.
morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. The technical working group will be dividing the presentation for this conference. So initially, technical working group will be starting the presentation. Then at the part of the presentation where the technical specifications will be presented, I'll be turning over the floor to the FICG, Mr. Chair.
Do we have possible bidders online or are they present physically? This is pre-bid, right?
Yes, sir. Secretariat?
Merong present na number lang gamit. Sino to? Ito yung Asian Aerospace ang number. Yan, 35987.
Ayan, meron na rin isa. AAC Sales.
To our prospective bidders who are present online, can you please identify yourself and the company you are representing? Opo. Si AAC Sales po.
Eddie Desa from Asian Aerospace Corporation, sir.
To Edmundo Gamad, sir. Are you also a prospective bidder for this project?
Yeah, we belong to SMS Global. I have see, two others. Wala pa yata sila.
Pa-type din po sa ating chat box yung name nyo, again, and the company you're representing. To the person or the corporation whose name is not indicated, yung number lang po, yung +35987 asterisk 89. Ma'am, sir? For the record, pa-identify lang po.
Sino chat box?
Sige po. We'll proceed, but again, for attendance purposes po, pa-indicate na lang po ng name nyo and the company you're representing in our chat box. Sir?
Thank you, Attorney Mendoza. Once again, welcome to everyone, especially to our prospective bidders, to the pre-bid conference for the project Lease of Flight Inspection System and Aircraft for CAAP-FICG Flight Operations Mission Nationwide 2024 Radio Navigational Aids Check under bid number 24-022-05 Bravo. The outline of this conference is divided into the following sections as shown on the screen. We'll start off with the invitation to bid, followed by the instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS, then the general conditions of the contract with corresponding SAC, the schedule of requirements, technical specifications, and we'll run the checklist. And the last part of the conference will be allotted for some question and answer portion from our prospective bidders. Starting off with the invitation to bid, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, through its Corporate Operating Budget 2024, intends to apply the sum of 55,680,000 pesos, being the ABC, to payments under the contract for the lease of flight inspection system and aircraft for CAAP-FICG Flight Operations Mission Nationwide 2024. Radio Navigational AIDS Check under bid number 24-022-05 Bravo. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. CAAP now invites the bids for the above procurement project. The delivery of goods is required for the conduct of flight inspection for radio navigational aids over a period of at least 1 year, subject to availability of funds. Bidders should have completed within the last 10 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids a contract similar to the project. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Bidding is open to all interested bidders, whether local or foreign, subject to the conditions for eligibility provided in the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Prospective bidders may obtain further information from CAAP and inspect the bidding documents addressed given in the following slide during office hours. The complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders on May 3, 2024 until the deadline of submission of bid from the address and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding document pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount of 56,000 pesos, which is already inclusive of 12% VAT. The procuring entity shall allow the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees through email. CAAP will hold, or is now actually holding, the private conference today, and bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office address and on or before 27th of May 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 14. Bid opening shall be on the 27th of May 2024 at 9:30 a.m. at the given address, also on the following slide. And bids will be open in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend the activity. CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with sections 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. For further information, please refer to the contact information shown on the screen. And the bidding documents may also be downloaded free of charge from the website of PhilJeps and also from the CAAP website, provided that the bidders shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than the submission of bids. We'll now proceed to the instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS. I would like to inform our prospective bidders that I will not be going through every individual item of the ITB. Instead, I'll focus on the BDS entries that correspond to the ITB clauses, which provide further requirements. Continuing on ITB Clause 5.3, for the purpose of this project or contract similar to the project shall be the lease or charter of aircraft to a government entity and be completed within a 10-year period prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For the bid prices, the price of goods shall be quoted DDP in the Philippines or the applicable Incoterms for this project. For the bid security, it shall be in any of the acceptable form and amount, the amount of not less than 1,113,600 pesos, which is equivalent to 2% of the ABC, if bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft, guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit, or the amount of not less than 2,784,000 pesos, which is equivalent to 5% of the ABC if the bid security is in surety bond. For ITB Clause 20.2, the bidder with the lowest calculated bid, which complies with and responds to all requirements and conditions, is required to submit the following documents as shown on the screen. Item A, the most recent income and business tax returns filed through the FPS, business licenses and permits as mandated by law, the most recent audited financial statements, and then the proof of completion of the SLCC as identified in the statement of SLCC, which should be a verifiable copy of any of the following documents: the contracts or purchase orders, corresponding sales invoices, ORs, collection receipt, and/or certificate of completion. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof will result in the bidder's disqualification for award. If a finding against the veracity of any of the submitted documents is made, it will lead to the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of the IRR of RA 9184. And lastly, for the signing of the contract requirement under ITB Clause 21.1, the CAAP approved technical specifications or the terms of reference as referred to in this bidding document for the lease of flight inspection system and aircraft for CAAP-FICG flight operations mission nationwide 2024 radio navigational age check shall be an integral and inseparable part of the contract. Now, for the reference of our prospective bidders, we'd like to illustrate how the submitted proposals should be documented. So this slide illustrates the expected formatting or how the index tabs, signature, and pagination should be or is recommended to be submitted. And this slide illustrates the contents of the first and second envelopes of the submitted proposal. Moving on to the general conditions of the contract with corresponding SCC. Under the scope of the contract for the delivery and documents, the contract shall be valid for a period of at least 1 year from the date of issuance of the notice to proceed and subject to the availability of funds of the project. Delivery shall be made by the service provider in accordance with the annual flight inspection schedule for radio navigational aids facilities in the technical specifications as adjusted to the actual start of the contract and to be confirmed through a monthly schedule approved by the CAAP, and 2, a weekly coordination memorandum containing flight route plan, which shall be timely submitted by the CAAP-FICG to the service provider. Now, due to the impact on public safety that is involved in this project, the service provider must accommodate the first flight inspection mission within 15 days from receipt of the NTP. No deferment or extension of time to comply shall be allowed. CAAP reserves the right to cancel the contract due to any delay in the delivery of services. The minimum major equipment requirements are 1 flight inspection system, 1 flight aircraft platform, 1 ground reference system. The primary and any substitute aircraft shall be clearly identified and its utilization cost shall be specified in the contract. And wherever applicable, the service provider shall ensure in all its documents, agreements, or contract for the acquisition of the flight inspection system that the equipment shall be available for use by the CAAP 15 days after the issuance of a NTP. Otherwise, the lease contract shall be canceled and the performance security shall be forfeited in favor of the procuring entity. The service provider shall ensure in all its ownership documents, agreements, or contracts, certificates of registration and airworthiness certificates, and insurance policies that all aircraft shall be available for use by CAAP 15 days after the issuance of MTP. Otherwise, again, lease contract shall be canceled and the performance security shall be forfeited in favor of CAAP. Still further under the scope of the contract for the delivery and documents, the delivery of the goods shall be made by the supplier in accordance with the terms specified in Section 6, the Schedule of Requirements. For the purpose of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is the Chief Flight Inspector of the Flight Inspection and Calibration Group. Under the incidental services, the supplier is required to provide all the following services as shown on the screen. So I will be going through every single items. And the contract price for the goods shall include the prices charged by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to other parties by the supplier for similar services. For the spare parts, the supplier is required to provide all of the following materials, notifications, and information pertaining to spare parts manufactured or distributed by the supplier. The spare parts and other components required and the costs thereof are included in the contract price. The supplier shall carry sufficient inventories to assure X stock supply of consumable spare parts or components for the goods for a period of the contract, and that spare parts or components shall be supplied as promptly as possible, but in any case without disruption of the contract. The last part, further requirements under the scope of the contract for the transportation. The procuring entity accepts no liability for the damage of goods during transit other than those prescribed by Incoterms for DDP deliveries. In case of goods supplied from within the Philippines or supplied by domestic suppliers, risk and titles will not be deemed to have passed to the procuring entity until their receipt and final acceptance at the final destination. For the intellectual property rights, the supplier shall indemnify CAAP against all third-party claims of infringement of patent, trademark, or industrial design rights arising from the use of the goods or any part thereof. Further on the general conditions of the contract, Clause 2.2, the terms of payment shall be as provided in the CAAP-approved technical specifications and the subsequent contract for the project. The lease cost in terms of the hourly rate for the flight inspection system and aircraft platform, as indicated in the bid price, shall be incorporated in the contract. This shall be the basis for the computation of payment for actual flight time used by the CAAP-FICG. The provision on retention money may be waived by CAAP where all deliveries have been satisfactorily complied with. For the inspection and tests, the technical working group shall verify the capability and availability of the flight information system and all its associated equipment within the post-qualification period. Where applicable, the bidder shall ensure that in their acquisition of an FIS that the equipment shall be available for use by CAAP 15 days after the issuance of NTP. Otherwise, again, the cancellation of the lease of contract and the forfeiture of the performance security. The technical working group shall verify the capability and availability of the aircraft and all its navigational equipment within the post-qualification period. The primary and all substitute aircraft must be identified in the bid. The bidder shall ensure all its ownership, documents, agreements, or contracts, certificates of registration and airworthiness certificates and insurance policies, that all aircraft shall be available for use by CAAP 15 days after the issuance of NTP. Otherwise, the cancellation of the lease of contract and forfeiture of the performance security in favor of CAAP. And furthermore, equipment inspections and tests on the FIS and the FMS should be conducted before each flight inspection mission. The aircraft shall be pre-positioned at the CAAP hangar for such purpose. Aircraft pre-flight inspection shall be conducted in accordance with PICAR and aircraft manufacturer's specifications. If a discrepancy affecting any flight inspection mission is found, the service provider shall have a maximum of 2 days to resolve any issues or provide a replacement aircraft without incurring any delay. And lastly, for the liability of the supplier in case of delay in the provision of the aircraft and FIS, Section 68 of the RA 9184 IRR shall be applied, where the amount of the liquidated damages shall be at least equal to 1/10 of 1% of the cost of the perform flight mission for every day of delay in the provision of aircraft. If the delay reaches 45 days, the CAAP may rescind the contract and impose appropriate sanctions on the service provider over and above the liquidated damages due to be paid. Now, for the schedule of requirements, shown on the screen is a table showing the delivery schedule expressed as weeks, or rather, in days, and then the expected date of delivery on the project site. We have 5 items: flight inspection system on board, an aircraft platform with the associated ground reference equipment, the aircraft pilot training, flight inspection system training, quarterly FIS calibration, and the FMS update. For the technical specifications, I'll be turning over the floor to our FICG representative to discuss the details or briefly present the information about the technical specification.
Yes, thank you, Sir Norik. Once again, good morning, everyone. To the BAC chairman and members of the BAC, the TWG, the secretariat, and all the prospective bidders online. On behalf of our chief captain, Roberto Andres Morico. And with me is Captain Efren Pochon, our flight inspection pilot.
Morning, everyone. Morning, sir.
Can we start, sir, on page 30 of the TOR?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, the first 7 pages are just the introduction. Let's go to the program of scope and work and general conditions. Okay, the CAAP shall lease 1 primary aircraft for the CAAP-FICG radio navigational aids flight inspection operations. The primary aircraft intended for radio navigational aids flight inspection shall be a multi-engine platform mounted with a flight inspection system, or the FIS. The present budget in the 2024 project procurement management of the CAAP-FICG for the project shall cover the lease for at least 192 hours of block time. In 7.4, the block time was defined as the instant the aircraft starts taxiing on its power from its parking point to take off to the moment it comes, sorry sir, the final stop on its own power after landing from flight for parking. Okay, 7.5, the total aircraft utilization time for any type of aircraft may be adjusted by the CAAP, but shall be limited within the budget or funds allocated for the whole project. 7.6, the flight inspection aircraft is an airborne laboratory to be operated by CAAP-FICG or the Flight Inspection and Calibration Group, flight inspection pilot, and flight inspection engineers, consistent with the authority granted to the FICG. 7.7, the FICG Chief Flight Inspector or the most senior flight inspector on board shall direct the flight inspection mission at all times. 7.8, the aircraft shall be flown to the airports and air navigation facilities in the appended table, FICG Flight Inspection Program, Part 1 Annual Flight Inspection Schedule, which can be found on starting page 41. And for 7.9, the aircraft type, facility to be inspected, scope of flight, and flight time allotted for each leg of the flight inspection are contained in the appended table, Flight Inspection Program, Part 2, Flight Time Allotment as continuation of the Part 1. For 7.1, due to the wide differences in cruise speeds of flight inspection aircraft available at present, the ferry time provided in the flight time allotment shall be the maximum payable by the CAAP for these flight legs, excess ferry flight, time of slow-flying aircraft offered by any supplier service provider shall not be payable and therefore waived. Okay. For this project, the flight inspection shall be used to calibrate radio navigation, DVOR, DME, NDB, localizer, glide slope, ILS, and GNSS facilities to set measure their prescribed physical and scientific parameters. Okay. Uh, the rest are just requirements up to 7.25. Can we go to, sir, to item number 8, page 33? Okay. Specific aircraft operation and equipment requirements for CAAP flight operations mission. So for 8.1, aircraft requirement for the flight inspection of radio navigational aids and flight validation of conventional instrument flight procedures. Under 8.1, we have a primary aircraft shall be used for radio navigational aids. It shall be a multi-engine platform with an integrated FIS. The aircraft shall be capable of extensive flight as low as 1,000 feet above mean sea level or 500 feet height above near aerodrome terrain. The aircraft shall be capable of demanding climbs and descents, high-performance maneuvers required for flight inspection, and repeated approaches and low passes at 50 feet over the threshold. The aircraft shall be specially equipped with a flight inspection system provided with independent communication and navigation antennas, sensor, electric power supplies, sources, and autonomous position reference systems. The aircraft shall have a flight management system coupled to auto flight system with regularly updated database and programmable with temporary user waypoints, an approved radio altimeter, and an approved GNS receiver. The aircraft shall be equipped with pilot, engineer communication, and pilot to FIS signal interface. The aircraft must be capable of an endurance for at least 3 hours flight inspection time between refueling. The last for the aircraft requirement is the aircraft environmental control and air conditioning should be acceptable to the CAAP-FICG as being adequate for flight crew and electronic equipment operating in low altitude as well as high altitude flight operations. So that is the requirements for the aircraft. We go now to item number 8.2, requirements for the onboard FIS. So number 1, the aircraft shall be equipped with an automatic FIS acceptable to the CAAP to meet flight inspection standards. The FIS shall be capable of evaluating ILS Category 1, DVOR and CVOR, including multi-station alignment check, DME with multi-facility capability for DME RNAV check, and non-directional beacon. Also, the FIS shall be equipped with an independent multi-mode receiver capable of multiple navigation facility tuning. The FIS shall be capable of automatic differential positioning for measuring relative distances, bearings, and vertical glide slope angles. The FIS shall be capable of recording GPS parameters and tracks for instrument flight procedures validation. Okay, 8.2.8, the FIS shall have a position fixing reference system based on either ground reference equipment, aircraft inertial reference equipment, DGPS, and/or theodolite tracking radio telemetry system, or any combination thereof. The FIS must be removable and can be easily installed on any replacement aircraft if warranted. Last is that the FIS shall have a program quarterly calibration and a periodic update of the application software based on the manufacturer's program. That is again acceptable to the CAAP-FICG. Okay. So we'll skip the requirements for the flight crew. We go now, sir, to item number 9, the delivery of services and components. The flight inspection system and aircraft shall be available for flight check mission 15 days after the issuance of the notice to proceed. All flights under this contract shall be coordinated between the CAAP-FICG and the service provider through formal communication of written or electronic mail request. First is the monthly flight inspection calendar approved by the CAAP-FICG. So the monthly flight inspection calendar is a preliminary schedule that identifies the airports to be checked, as well as the aircraft equipment requirements for such mission. And then the aircraft provider shall be notified of the monthly schedule through a memorandum communicated by the CAAP-FICG at least 15 days before the start of the month covering such schedule. In all eventuality, the finalized mission schedule shall be confirmed through a weekly coordination memo via electronic mail at least 4 days before the flight for flight planning and logistical coordination. Due to the significance of this project to public safety, the aircraft service provider shall accommodate the flight inspection mission within 15 days from notification without legally incurring delay. Any party can terminate or call off a flight inspection mission based on airworthiness issues or unsuitability of the aircraft for the flight inspection mission. Item 9.8 to 9.10 is already in the schedule of requirements hanggang 9.11. 9.12, all repairs and unscheduled work of the FIS, the GRS, or the flight validation equipment shall be completed within 1 month of any notification by the inspector to the service provider. Again, without legally incurring delay. Aircraft utilization. Item number 10, sir, aircraft utilization flexibility. The annual flight inspection schedule for the project is affected by various factors such as inclement weather condition. Therefore, all schedule may be adjusted at any time by the CAAP-FICG through the monthly flight inspection calendar. 10.3, the allotted flight time for each of the radio navigation inspection flights, visual aids calibration flights, aerodrome inspection flights, and others for prioritization of flight checks and efficient application of aircraft type. However, the total utilization shall be limited to the budget or funds allocated for the whole project. Okay, contract period and termination, item 11, sir. The lease contract shall be valid for a period of 1 year commencing on the day of the NTP. In the exigency of the public service, the contract may extend beyond the contract period if the total allotted block time has not yet been fully utilized, or if the total funding allocated for the contract has not yet been fully consumed. Okay. Terms of payment. Yes, sir. I think that will be all for the terms of reference.
Thank you, Sir Erwin. I will now be switching my screen to continue the presentation after the technical specification. Okay, so moving now on to the checklist of the requirements that will be submitted for this project. For the technical component envelope, for the legal documents, valid field JEPS registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. Then the technical documents, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid, and the statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid except under conditions provided for in Section 24.4.1.3 and 23.4.2.4 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, within the relevant period as provided in the bidding documents. The original copy of bid security, the conformity with technical specifications, the original duly signed omnibus sworn statement, and, if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original a special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. And for the financial document, the prospective bidder's computation of NFCC or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. And if applicable, a duly signed joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instance of the bid is successful. For the financial component envelope, the original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form and original of duly signed and accomplished price schedules, and other documentary requirements under RA 9184 as applicable. The certification from the relevant government office of their country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in the government procurement activities for the same item or product, and a certification from the DTI if the bidder claims preference as a domestic bidder or domestic entity. Mr. Chair, that ends the presentation for this conference. The floor may now be opened for any questions or clarifications our prospective bidders might have. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do we have any questions, queries, or clarifications from the prospective bidders present today?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Eddie Desa from Asian Aerospace.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Desa.
Well, on destruction to bidders, number 5.3, the bidder must have completed a single contract that is similar to the project equivalent to at least 25% of ABC. Is it not 50%, Mr. Chairman?
Can that be clarified by the end user? Well, I suppose yes, for most of our projects, we go by 50%, half. But but can you explain that, end user? And then I will get comment from the TWG, no? Because it's really, as far as I know, it has to be half of the contract amount. Unless you want to make it a combination or so. Tama ba yun?
That's what in the regulation, Mr. Chairman.
Well, let's see kung meron silang basis.
If I may, Mr. Chair, yung pong clause 5.3 as stated is a standard clause in the bidding documents, but it doesn't necessarily apply to this project. SLCC is always 50%. The requirement is always 50% of the ABC. Yung 20% of the ABC, as stated there, only applies for expendable supplies. In this case, the contract is not an expendable supply, so 50% would apply.
So we have to change this to 50%. Do I get it correctly, sir?
Yes, sir.
Tama, di ba? Okay. So that's okay with the end user?
Yes, sir. We submit to the recommendation of the TWG.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, another,
Hold on.
on the terms of,
Hold on, Mr. Desa. Is that a similar concern to the other bidders? Because if not, then as recommended by the TWG, we're recommending to the end user to revise this particular section to instruction to bidders to reflect 50% instead of 25%. Okay. All right. I hear no other comment from the bidders present. Mr. Desa, go ahead with your second manifestation.
another one, sir. We respectfully request for amendment to the terms of reference under 7.3, which states that it should be only used for the NAB aids inspection, sir. We request that other items should be included, such as the radar, FIS, visual aids, airport inspection. as what had been in the past contract, sir. It's all encompassing.
Yes,
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead,
Thank you
sir.
for the question. Sir, we're here now at the list of flight inspection system and aircraft for CAAP-FICG Flight Operation Mission Nationwide 2024 intended for radio navigational aid check. I believe as we're now into pre-bid conference, just have to discuss with the terms of reference. Any changes for this subject, we submit to the wisdom of the BAC as a whole. Uh, should, yung tanong ni sir, di po ba dapat sa pre-procurement po siya naganap? Pero as nasa pre-bid na po tayo,
Because
so,
this is the
the FICG,
opportunity
yes, sir.
for our bidders to give their comments sa
Yes, sir.
pre-procurement
We're
conference
not party
kasi.
to your pre-procurement.
Yes, but I understand your point, sir, no? Because these are peculiar requirements from the end user. As per, I would say, practice in BAC Bravo, we give due respect to the requirements of the end user. So we'll make sure that your requirements will stay and be retained so long as they are reasonable. But you're right, this can still be revised, but that would be internal to CAAP. But it's good that we're hearing these things from the prospective bidders, because at the end of the day, if there are no other bidder that can participate based on our terms of reference, I mean, the authority will suffer because there will be no bidder, the bidding and the procurement will fail, and then we suffer an instance where we do not have a qualified supplier. So that is, I think, the reason behind why we have this pre-bid conference. But again, just to advise the prospective bidders, while we take note of your recommendations, your comments, there is no obligation on the part of CAAP to integrate, revise, modify, or otherwise what has been included and, as we believe, thoroughly studied by our end user. But thank you, Mr. Desa, for that. Please reflect that in the minutes, and that can be discussed separately. We will issue another instruction to bidder if we will be reflecting those comments. But to understand and to probably synthesize further the comment of Mr. Desa, the ano pangalan nito? The AAC wanted us to revise the TOR and make it generic, not only the use of lease aircraft is not limited to air navigation. Tama po ba? Radio
Yes, sir.
navigation. Radio navigation. You want to include, what else? What did you mention, Mr. Desa?
The radar, FIS, visual aid, and the airport inspection, sir. The radar, FIS, visual aids, and airport inspection. And it is noteworthy to mention, Mr. Chairman, your radar is, 4 of your radars is already due. The Manila, Tagaytay, Clark, and Zamboanga, for the record.
Thank you. We take note of that. Thank you for that. We appreciate the concern to the authority. We'll discuss that. We just have to understand what is the reason behind why FICG did not include that. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation why. And that is something that we need to discuss with the Director General, because time and again, it is our belief that the authority of the BAC is limited to procurement. But there is a way for us to do that, but we will have to discuss this with the Director General, Mr. Desa. But thank you, we take note of that. Yes, we confirm that there are those equipment that we also need to calibrate and inspect and validate. Not to mention also the various admin flights that are required also to be conducted by this authority. So thank you for that. Okay, let's take note of that to the end user. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Colonel Gamad,
Ed
please go
Gamad.
ahead.
yeah, Ed Gamad for SMS Global Tech. I have two of my colleagues in the call also. I would like to ask some clarification germane to the previous discussion. So we were made aware that in your prior contracts with AAC, there was total of something like 766 flying hours covering three areas. And these are nav aids, visual inspection, and also airport inspections. Now we're down to 192 with a corresponding reduction, substantial reduction in the budget, almost 56 million only as compared to, I think, 130, 140 prior years. So we get the impression that this is mostly concentrated on nav aids and will not accommodate the other flight, uh, I mean, visual aids, for example. But we note, however, on page 52, that you have a flight inspection run profile for PAPI. Is this an integral part, this page 52 of this document? Mr. Chairman?
FICG will answer the end user. Thank you for that, Colonel Gamat.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Captain Poshon of FICG. Uh, Regarding your question, sir, that flight time allocations for visual aids are reflected on the, are you referring to flight time allotment for, on page 45 up to 47, sir?
No, we get the impression that this particular requirement is to focus solely 192 hours for nav aids inspection, and visual aids is not included here. Although you are retaining the flexibility to later on distribute that to other requirements as well, airport inspection and PAPI or visual aids. So is that the correct interpretation? Because we see on page 52, inspection run profile for PAPI, or this is not an integral part of that.
Yes, sir. I understand now your query. And for visual aids, it's not included in this allocation. This is purely for flight time dedicated for navigational aids, flight inspection missions.
Copy that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. This is
Can you give us a few seconds, Colonel Gamat? We're just discussing an internal process. Okay, give us about 5 to 10 seconds.
No worries, Mr. Chairman. Take your time.
Thank you for bearing with us to the prospective bidders. We take note of those comments, and for now, the answers to the queries of the end user FICG will stand, subject to further guidance coming from the from the Director General. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Colonel Gamad. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sir Ed.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other concerns on the presentation? Comments, questions, queries, inputs, feedbacks? Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead, sir.
on the sample bid forms, can you furnish through bid bulletin the bid forms that we're going to use for the statement of all its ongoing project, whether government or private? The form for statement of single largest completed contract, the bid securing declaration format, the wordings, the omnibus sworn statement as well, the financial contracting capacity, the NFCC, base per GPB resolution number 16-2020, and the financial bid form, sir.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we'll be issuing the appropriate form that will be used for the question that was raised, and rest assured that it will be specified what are other specific attachments that must be provided as well. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Okay, sir. So you're going to issue a bid bulletin regarding the matter, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, TWG, Sir Norik. Okay. Questions? I hear none.
That's all for today.
Okay. Thank you. So there are no more queries and questions. Thank
No
you.
more, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Colonel Gamad. So, all right. I hear no other questions, queries from the TWG. Sir Norik.
Just a reminder to our prospective bidders, Mr. Chair, that they have up to 10 days prior to the bid opening. Any clarifications or questions should come before the submission and opening of bids are still welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, will that be 10 days? That will be on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken.
Before the opening of bids, sir.
Before. Okay, 10 days. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I hope we can encourage more participating bidders so that we'll have more alternatives. I know there are other and many qualified prospective bidders. You have, for one, of course, our existing service provider, Asian Aerospace. We have the team of Colonel Gamad, and it would really serve the authority well if there are more who can participate. So let's make sure that the terms of reference would encourage competition, fair competition. So with that, no more questions, no more queries, clarifications. I hear none. This matter is closed. So what is the recommendation of the TWG?
The technical working group recommends the conclusion of the pre-bid conference, Mr. Chair, and move to the next agenda item.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you for those who attended. Have a good day. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. FICG is
Yes, sir.
excused. You want to
Permission
discuss
be
anything?
excused, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Sir,
you. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Captain Morico. All right. Next item on the agenda, supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of precision air conditioning unit for the MISD data center. We have the end user to present. Do we have any bidders? Of course, yes. Let's ask them.
Good morning po. Before we start the presentation, may we request po if we have prospective bidders joining online? Kindly type in na lang po your name and the company you are representing on the message box. Thank you.
All right. Let's proceed with the presentation.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl from MISD. We're going to present the supply, delivery, installation, commissioning of a PACU for the MISD data center, bid number 2402305 Bravo. As a background, the budget for the project is 2 million pesos. Delivery of goods is required for 30 calendar days from the issuance of the notice to proceed. The bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion based on the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. For the bid data sheets, for ITB Clause 5.3, pursuant to Section 23.4.1.3 of the 2016 IRR of 9184, the bidder shall have an SLCC that is at least one contract similar to the project, amount of which shall be equivalent to at least 50% of the ABC. For this purpose, contract similar to the project refers to contracts which have the same major categories of work, which shall be commercial HVAC installation, completed within 5 years prior to the deadline of the submission of the receipts, and then shall be supported with a copy of the contract and a certificate of satisfactory certificate. Okay, for ITB Clause 10.1, for the legal documents, A, valid PhilJEPS registration certificate for platinum memberships, all pages, or registration certificate from SEC, Department of DTI for sole proprietorship, CDA for cooperatives or its equivalent document. Letter C, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of the business of the prospective bidder is located or its equivalent. Then the tax clearance per EO 398 as finally reviewed and approved by BIR. For the technical documents, statement of the prospective bidder as all of the ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and in complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of the bidder's SLCC or the single largest completed contract to be bidded except under condition provided under the rules. Letter G, the original copy of the bid security. If in the form of security bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid security declaration. Letter H, the schedule of requirements. And letter I, conformity with the technical specification, which may include production, delivery schedule, manpower equipments, manpower requirements, and or the after sales or parts if applicable. Letter J, the original duly signed omnibus sworn statement, and if applicable, the original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or the original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do act to represent the bidder. These shall include all the following documents as attached to the OSS. Number 1, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government. Number 2, it's legal clearance to be issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pending cases of the prospective bidders against this authority. And number 3, bid bulletins if applicable. For the financial documents, the prospective bidders' audited financial statements showing, among others, the prospective bidders' total and current assets and liabilities, stamp received by the BRR or its duly accredited authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And letter I, the prospective bidders' computation of the NFCC or the net financial contracting capacity or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. For the Class B documents, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement. Bids not complying with the above instruction shall be disqualified. For ITB Clause 11.11, the second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents for the bid as specified in Section 8, checklist of technical and financial documents. These shall include the complete accomplishment of all the following documents as stated and required under Section 8 of this PBD, and shall form part of the bidder's financial document, the original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form, and the original duly signed accomplished price schedule. Any modification, alterations for the financial document form shall not be allowed. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. The bid security for ITB Clause 14.1, the bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration of any of the following forms: the amount of not less than 40,000 or 2% of the ABC if bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit. And letter B, amount not less than 100,000 or 5% of the ABC if bid security is in surety bond. For ITB Clause 15, each and every page thereof shall be initialed, signed by the duly authorized representatives of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, the technical and the financial documents shall be properly marked with indexed tabs or the ear tab, and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form of example, page 3 of 100, page number of last page of the document per envelope basis. Pagination should be sequential based on the entire span of the whole documents inside the envelope. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. Each bidder shall submit one copy of the first and second components of its bid. For ITB Clause 19.1, the bidder must render its statement or compliance or conformity with bidding documents as enumerated and specified in these technical specifications. For 19.2, partial bid is not allowed. The project is packaged in a single lot, and lots shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract awards. For ITB Clause 20.2, the bidder will the lowest calculated bid that complies with and is responsible to all the requirements and conditions shall submit to the latest income tax and business tax filed through the EFPS and business licenses permits required by law, such as the registration certificate, mayor's permit, and tax clearance, and also the latest audited financial statements. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award. For the special conditions of the contract, for SSC 2.2, as terms of payment, no partial payment is allowed. Payment of 100% of the contract price upon completion and final acceptance of the project. And for the inspections and tests, the inspections and tests that will be conducted shall include but not limited to the physical inspection and inventory, and whatever additional tests that the technical inspection team may require. For the terms of reference, as a general objective, the objective of this project is to procure a precision air conditioning unit for the MISD data center. This will provide constant and reliable cooling for network devices, servers, and storage installed at the CAAP data center. For the deliverables, it should be a smart cooling system that provides precise temperature and humidity to mission-critical equipment. It should be designed for a 24/7, 365 days of continuous operation to maintain IT equipment at this acceptable operational temperature. All the functionalities and scope of the product to be supplied shall not be less than those required in these specifications. The PACU shall be delivered, installed, tested, and commissioned at the MISD Data Center, CAAP Head Office, Pasay City. The equipment or hardware must be configured prior to the delivery. The bidder shall submit the product brochure of its proposed PACU. This is the floor plan of MISD. For the mechanical components, this should include the pipes, fittings, the PACU indoor unit, the PACU outdoor unit, the electrical circuit and circuit breaker panel, pull-out and the decommissioning of a defective PACU at the CAAP MISD Data Center and of its existing PACU electrical and pipings. For the technical specification of the specific PACU is listed on this page. And then there should be a support, reliable year-round operation under any climate condition, user-friendly, controlled with LCD, front panel for semi-graphic display of temperature, humidity, and other parameters. The humidity, there should be an electrode humidifier, humidity temperature sensor, high-efficiency open drip proof motor, air filter, and remote outdoor condenser unit. The proposed system should comprise the supply and installation of the PACU system itself, the installation and leak test of pipes and fittings with accessories, installation and testing of the alarm systems, installation and testing of the electrical systems. For the documentation, the winning bidder shall provide a technical specification with proposed circuit design, its methodology and work plan, the user's manual, the hard copy and soft copy will be provided, warranty certificates, and the as-built plan upon completion of the project. For warranty, we're expecting a 3 years warranty and support for parts, periodic maintenance, check, and services. 4 hours response time for the time of reporting through chat, SMS, call, or email, and 8 hours response time from the time of reporting for on-prem support. Other requirements, interested parties are encouraged to conduct its own site inspection to the MISD data center. The scheduled opening of bids is on 27 May 2024. Thank you po. That concludes the presentation for the project. Any questions po?
Yeah, to the bidders present, thank you. Thank you, MISD. Thank you, Ma'am Che. Right, I think there's a question from one of the prospective bidder. Please go ahead.
Good morning po from Buoyant Industrial Systems Inc. Just to clarify lang po with regards sa attachment for omnibus sworn statement, specifically yung legal clearance to be issued by CAAP enforcement. Ano po yung document na kailangan naming isubmit to get clearance?
Hi, ma'am. Good morning. You just have to proceed at the Office of the Enforcement and Legal Service here in CAAP head office. You will fill up a form and you will wait for at least 3 days before they release to you legal clearance po. Punta lang po sila dito sa office.
Okay po. No. So, bali, sir, yung clearance will be issued hard copy din po.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay po. Noted po. Thank you po.
Mr. Mark Fajardo.
Good morning, sir.
Good
From
morning.
American Technologies po.
Yes.
Bali, andito po kami kasama po ni Mark sa ATI.
Okay.
Ask lang po namin, sir, yung delivery date, sir, sa nung unit is 30 days from the uh, NTP. After po na NTP.
Please.
Yes, sir. Within 30 days after the issuance of the notice to proceed. So, kung gusto niyo mas maaga, okay lang.
Oh, ayun nga ma'am eh. Ang problem kasi namin, ma'am, mga pako po kasi is na-export pa sa ibang bansa. So, maliit ma'am yung 30 days dun sa lead time. Normally, mga ilang, more, more than, 2 months? Mga ganun ma'am yung delivery date. So, kaya kinarify ko lang po ma'am.
Yeah.
If ever po na lumagpas kami sa 30 days, bali, hindi na rin yung i-consider.
Okay. So, I've been advised that because of the urgency of the requirement, this is what we require, 30 days, but that is not to say that we will be unreasonable in case there are delays that are justifiable, so long as you advise us also of the reason and we will verify whether or not the reason for the delay is not entirely attributable to the contractor or the provider. So, yes, we would wish to retain the 30 days for posterity, but again, that is not to say that we are not open to extensions if need be. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Bali, clarify lang po kasi yung parang ang standard na delivery on site po kasi talaga nung unit since imported po is
Yeah.
nasa 12 to 16 weeks yung delivery on site. Kaya
All right, sir. What do you propose? How long should it? How many days should we, if we're going to change or revise it? How many days do you think is reasonable?
delivery, sir, possible 120 days, sir, from the provision po ng NTP
Okay.
or PO.
All right. We respect that suggestion. We'll try to deliberate and will release an instruction to bidder if need be, if it's going to be changed. Is that the same concern also from the representative of Sales Buoyant, the number of delivery, the days by which you're required to deliver after notice to proceed? Can we ask just any comment from Sales Buoyant?
Good morning ulit, sir. Actually, kino-confirm po din siya sa technical team namin. And yun nga, maiksi din po yung
Maiksi.
30 days for them.
All right. And okay, how long do you think should be the period of delivery? Can you comment on that?
Sir, i-confirm ko lang sa technical team namin kung ilan yung approximate nila na calendar days for PACU system.
Sige. All right. On the matter of the period with which you're required to deliver, the winning bidder is required to deliver, we will further assess, evaluate, and deliberate and advise the prospective bidders through a bid bulletin. Okay? So for now, let's park this matter and proceed if there are other questions unrelated to the period of delivery. Mark Fajardo, again, please.
Isa po sir, regarding naman po dun sa dimension sir, physical dimension po nung unit natin. So naka-indicate po kasi dun is not more than the physical dimension. So pagka lumagpas po dun sa dimension, hindi na rin po siya mako-consider. Ganun po ba sir?
Yes, sir, kasi maliit po yung... Oo. Medyo yung data center po namin is maliit. And pati po yung door technically na dadaanan yan, medyo may konting limitation. So, nagre-require din kami, kaya nag-encourage kami ng physical inspection nyo, site in visit. Kasi may mga limitations po yung data center ng CAAP.
Okay. Sige po ma'am, if ever po na makita naman dun sa site na kakasya, parang nasa 750 lang din po yata yung width na nakakayanin. So, i-check na lang po namin sa site if ever na kakasya or hindi. So yung,
Yes.
apo, question ko lang ma'am sa may PACU, bali yung PACU 2 po, parang magiging identical din po ba nung PACU 1? Or same capacity po pa sila?
Hindi naman kailangan na identical brand, not necessarily.
Pero yung size din po nung PACU 1 ma'am, same size din siya nung PACU 2. Parang sa physical dimension po.
Not necessarily, pero pag nagpunta ka doon, almost the same yung size nila ngayon, pero not necessarily naman na parehong-pareho yung size.
Okay, sige po ma'am. Check na lang po dun sa on-site yung sa
Yes,
may PACU. If ever po ma'am na makita po sa on-site na possible namang maipasok, maka-consider po kaya natin yung dun sa bid docs po na not more than not more than dun sa physical dimension nung specified dun sa technical specification ma'am.
Yes sir, pwede naman. So if possible, magpunta kayo agad dito para if ever na meron tayong ilalabas na bid bulletin, mailabas po agad natin. So if you can visit MISD CAAP as soon as possible, mas okay sir.
Sige po. Bali kayo po kayo makikipag-coordinate ma'am if ever po magkakaroon po ng site inspection.
Anybody from MISD can accommodate and show you the data center, sir. Pero nandito po kami office hours, Cheryl po or Dennis. You can look for Cheryl or Dennis. Thank you, sir.
Thank you po ma'am. Mag-send po ba kami ng prior email or punta na lang po kami sa mismong CAAP?
Pwede na lang kayo, sir, dumiretso sa CAAP.
Thank you po. Noted po ma'am.
Sa
Salamat
MIS.
po.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any more? All right. I hear none. So again, we would like to thank the two companies that participated in today's pre-bid conference. We hope to see you during the opening. If you have questions, you can still write us for queries and we will officially reply and revert. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, MISD.